Hey, aunties, it's Michael from Chicago. What's brewing today?
DWade, Father of the Year.
Ask your aunties. He too needy for me.
And 2010's Our Music. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing today?
Hey.
Good.
Yeah.
As Dawon takes a swig of beer. He's like, I'm doing really well.
It's only 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
Exactly. Hey, community. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, y'all. We only got a couple more left in this year.
I know.
Then it's a whole new decade.
How are we in December? Like, how are we in December already?
It's
I ain't
crazy.
asking no questions. I'm saying thank God. By
Praise
2019.
Jesus on that. I know
Thank God
that's
you
right.
made it.
Huh.
Okay.
He didn't have to bring me
Shoot.
this far. Come on now.
Man.
Can I
Don't
get a
me started.
witness?
Been
Don't
through.
y'all know I'm a
it.
PK. I'll start shouting in a minute.
That's why they say there's never a testimony without a test.
Bitch.
Let me tell you, and there were several this year.
Maybe I shouldn't say bitch for saying the Lord, but girl. Sorry, Lord.
Man,
Ooh, it's
2019
true, though.
has tried it on all levels. I can't even begin to. I think every major part of my life, whether it was relationship, job, finance, living situations, like mental health, like all of it has been tested in 2019 at some point. And I'm just
I hear
like,
you.
a bitch just want to be happy, like,
Okay, Mary J.
look.
I do
Do your
feel
Mary J.
like
Blige dance.
I know this isn't like the last episode of the decade. It's hard to even say that, but it feels like 2019 has been like a year-long Mercury in retrograde.
Facts. Yes.
You
Mhm.
know,
It's been
like
something.
full moon, everything's happening, everything is like going haywire, but we made it through.
We made it through. I
Or
know.
make
Like,
it
through.
it's been definitely a roller coaster year.
Mhm.
Like unemployment, but then getting married and then re-employment, and it's just been wild. It's been a year, and
So
it's been a
much change.
decade. It's been a decade, and so it's just like, man. But like you said, we made it through. Thank you, Lord. I know.
Ooh.
We're gonna have people praise dancing.
I know
on
that's
their way
right.
to
Get
work.
that shout. Come on. Take me
Shamalama.
to the king. Come on, Tamala man. About to come on. Anyway, but hopefully, community, you're having a great morning. It's December. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yes.
Hopefully, you're not sick of Mariah yet. And she's getting more coins every single Christmas season because of that
Yes.
one damn song.
I ain't heard that said. I ain't heard it one time yet. And we
You haven't?
days.
How?
We how many days we into freaking December
Houseway.
now?
Right,
not,
with the first
not a
weekend,
single time.
second weekend.
I haven't-
I've been hearing it since Thanksgiving. Actually,
First of
before
all-
Thanksgiving.
First up, my ass work from home. So let me tell you, I control all music going in and out of these ears, okay? Let me say that.
They don't call her Auntie Hintissy for nothing.
Shoot, she
But
been
that's
avoiding all
that's how
of
you
it.
write a song. You write
That's
a
how
song
you
that
do
they're
it.
gonna have to repay and replay every
Yes.
year.
hmm That's what. But you know what? Not everybody can do it though,
Not
because there are a
everyone
lot
can
of
do it.
people that put out some Christmas albums that
And it ain't good.
go right in
That's
the
true.
trash.
So do.
Fact.
Like you wasted all
So
your
do.
breath.
John
Mhm.
Legend has a good one. I like his Christmas album.
Yeah.
He has a good one.
I don't know. I like his. I don't. I just wanted a little bit more from him. But John Legend, you got to be in
Yeah.
the mood for John Legend.
Mhm.
Very
You
true.
know,
Very. He has that little.
It's like-
girl. that sounds like something else.
he almost sounds like he got a frog
Look,
in his
community, if
throat.
y'all
That
could
sound
have
like
seen
a
the
clog
voice
pipe.
that Carell was making this moment. Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord. And I kind of like that Katy Perry Christmas song. A cozy little Christmas here with you.
I never heard that
I
one.
heard
I
the
don't
first
know
30
this man.
seconds. I heard
I
the
don't know
first
who
30
she
seconds
is.
today, and I said, "No, ma'am. Was she not
Said,
gonna
no,
do
ma'am,
it?
ma'am.
No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
Sorry to this girl.
No."
So does Mariah only have the most recent, like, kind of Christmas song? Like, because most popular Christmas songs were written, like, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, Is hers the most recent from the 90s?
No, this
No, 'cause-
Christmas.
Like
This
original?
Christmas.
That's from Donny Hathaway from the 70s.
No, but there's been a lot of remakes though.
Remakes,
of
But I mean,
it.
like, newly penned Christmas songs. Is that the last good one?
Girl, we
Maybe
couldn't have
Kelly-
talked about this in pre-production.
I know.
I mean,
Shit,
it just
now you-
popped in my head.
She put
I know,
us
right?
all on the spot.
right, and we got a whole
Let's see.
segment later about songs.
Well,
Anyway, here we are.
So
right now.
my bad.
See, we can't. This
Let's
is
ask the
why.
community that then.
This is why, community, we cannot talk about music with Carell because she
So
be throwing. She be throwing us curveballs, underhands, fastballs.
Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll do an Auntie Vodka Corner segment on Instagram to give us some content out there or just music stuff because it just comes out. I don't know.
That needs to be like a weekly or bi-weekly like Instagram live segment that you do. Because I'm
Right,
telling you, you
right.
can get some folks riled up with your music thoughts and ideas and stuff like
I
that.
agree.
Girl.
And sorry if you heard my phone. My hey Harper, they just FaceTimed it. It was her birthday yesterday.
I know
Aw.
she's 3. She is so
She's
cute.
3. Oh, I know. Did you just have a bath? Sorry, community. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so I have some news. I've been kind of sitting on this for a while, but I'm starting a new job. So community,
Yeah.
community. By the time you hear this, I will be.
Congrats.
Thank you. So by the time y'all hearing this, I'll be walking through the doors of my new office. But yeah, I'm leaving American Eagle Outfitters. It's bittersweet, but the new company that I'm starting with, they are in the cannabis industry, and so they not only sell CBD products, but they also sell weed. So my new job is literally, well, I'll be the director of learning development for Acreage Holdings, but my job is basically teaching people how to sell weed.
You know what? Look, you know how you came full circle. Now you're going to be called the weed man.
Yeah, right.
That's what you're going to be known to as the people in your family.
Right, exactly. They're gonna be coming to me for all the kind of advice, and like everybody's been hitting me up, like, so what kind of discount you go get?
I was
And I'm
about to
like,
say, you got
girl.
some coupons?
I'm like, girl, I haven't even started yet. I'll be walking through the doors today, so by next week I can let a bitch know.
There you go.
Let you know when the
I've
benefits
never
kick
done
in.
anything. I've never done weed in my life. Never smoked. No edibles. Nothing.
Wait till this weekend. So anyway, yeah. So
No, and people look at me crazy. They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "I never had the desire." I'm asthmatic, so smoking anything, I was like, "Okay, I'm not about to
That's
like
not gonna
edibles.
can't
Edibles
breathe
is where it's at.
even more."
That's what I like. Edibles.
Yep,
I'm not
edibles is
I
where
don't
it's
like
at.
smoking anything at all. I just
No,
don't.
I
I
won't.
don't like it. I think it,
Yeah.
honestly, even though as disgusting as I think it is, like smoking, I do think it looks sexy. It's wild. But
Fashion.
that's because you imagining something going in and out of someone's mouth. That's what
Well,
that's what that is. She says
That's what
that
is.
might be a little thumbs up.
that
That might have a little something to do with it.
fixation, darling.
Right, exactly. But for me, edibles is where it's at. Like I don't partake a lot, but when she does,
She's all the
goes
way in.
Yeah, exactly. She wants it to hit long and hard, girl.
Okay.
Oh wait, we're talking about
Oh.
edibles, right?
Yes, bitch. and look. By this time next week, she gonna be a real professional.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
She gonna have all the
Professional, bitch. Is the commute going to be similar to your commute now?
Yeah, my new company is like 8 blocks away from my
Okay.
my old company, so the
that's
commute's going to
good.
be the same. It's a promotion for me.
Ow.
It's a booming industry. There's a lot of opportunity to just like carve your own way, and it's really exciting. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a little bittersweet because I really enjoy working in, especially like apparel retail, but I
Yeah.
do love working in retail, and I'll still be able to do that with my new job. It'll just be a
Exactly.
different kind of product.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
we're proud of you, girl. Go ahead,
Thanks.
get them coins, get them
Yes.
titles.
Look, it's like I
You know-
always say, when one of us glows up, we all glow up.
The glow up is real for the whole community. Ow. And speaking of commutes, though, you know what else? Community, if you have a commute, go ahead and download all the episodes of Minority Report. Tell your friends
Yes.
to download all the episodes of Minority Report. Help our numbers, help our glow up as well.
Yes, ma'am. I know there's a lot of people that just like they hear about podcasts and they have a whole lot of misconceptions about like they think podcasts are like it's like the news, but on Apple. I've had like so many conversations this past weekend because we went home for Thanksgiving and all that, and just talking to extended family and talking about podcasts and stuff. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard you do a podcast. What is that like? Like, do you just report the news? And how does like." Are you really qualified to do that? And I'm like, that's not what it is. Like, first of all, let me play a little
They
bit
tried
for
to
you.
check you for your credentials. Are you
Girl,
qualified?
She said, where your
They
lander
know.
at?
First of all, I can do that. Second
right.
of all, it's not that.
Don't check me, boo.
We're going to check me.
But there's just a lot of people that don't know. So we
Yeah.
need y'all to help us out.
Spread the word.
Absolutely. And thanks for Michael for the intro today, too.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, Michael.
Yes, boo. Bringing us
Michael
in
be
today.
dancing.
Yes.
Wow. Y'all should see her. She be posting some videos on IG. She be getting it. I'm like, okay, girl.
Trying to be an extra Pussycat Dolls.
Let me tell you. True. Look, I watch some videos. I'd be like, damn, I remember I could do that about 12 years ago. Like, it's just a little time hop. I'd be like, damn, back in the day. Mhm.
Thank you for taking the time to do it. That's sweet. But speaking of Pussycat Dolls, they back. You saw that performance?
I
Baby.
did.
In their little IML outfits.
I'll say this.
Band-Aids.
Band-Aids, not Band-Aids, girl. They looked real cute. You can tell they were just, it's been a while a little bit. They were not
Yes.
as like sexy, crisp as they used to be. But
They said it's been 10 years. I was
it's been
like,
10
damn,
years.
it's been
I
that
was like,
long?
damn, yes, girl.
And for that original crew. It's not like one of the replacements.
yeah.
Well, the one girl ain't there. The
Melody.
one girl that always...
Melody
right.
Thornton, yeah,
She
she's
be
not
trying
there.
to sing all them ad-libs, but don't sound quite good.
Quite right,
That's why your
yep.
ass ain't singing on the track, Melody. You doing too much.
Just saying.
She still
that's
had
the
a little
real
bit
tea.
of, she had a little turkey neck in the
Girl.
back of her throat.
But like it was funny because I actually liked hearing someone else's voice other than Nicole because you can totally hear Nicole doing most of the vocals. So when I could actually hear Melody, I was always happy for it because it was a breath of fresh air of someone else
Right.
in the group. But she said she's not returning because she's not a dancer, and the group, everyone else, if you're not Nicole, it's all about being a dancer. And she was like, why go back to do something that I can't do? That's not my forte. She's like, I'm a singer.
She was doing fine back in the day. And
No,
getting
girl.
coins.
Oh, no. If you should have seen
Melody
her back
wasn't
there,
doing that well back
Melody,
in the day.
but
You're
she
right.
was like the Michelle of the group, bitch. She was always
right.
like a half step behind everybody.
You're right.
They had to turn her around a couple
Yeah.
times. Like, she
Uh-uh.
couldn't do no splits in the air. She wasn't, putting her pussy on a silver platter or anything like that. Spread eagle. That wasn't her, So, not mad at it, but,
Look, I
with the ones
I
that good
respect the
dance, I'm
integrity.
there.
Like, if you know what you can do and know what you can't do, and if it
Okay.
ain't for you, then have enough grace to step out and let somebody who can really put it down do it.
All I know is my ass would have been back in that group, half off, getting them half
Getting them
checks.
coins.
Look.
I'm just saying.
Look, homegirl, I think her name was Kimberly. She just had a baby 6 weeks ago.
6 weeks
Oh,
Six
ago.
yeah.
weeks ago, bitch.
And she was still lifting that leg, like that signature leg.
Sure did, all the way in
I was
the
like,
air.
come on, mama.
That's how she got 3 kids. Let it be known. We know where them babies came from.
But you know what? Once again, it shows you how good certain groups and people are and how bad other people are. Because the Pussycat Dolls, for 10 years of not performing, came back and was snatched.
Yeah.
And then let's rewind back to 2 weeks ago when Selena Gomez was up there.
You know
Like,
what? See,
You know what? Don't
I'm
bring
just
her.
saying.
Don't bring
why
her.
did you have
no.
to disgrace?
My point is, you better step
She
your game
disgraced
up.
herself. She disgraced herself.
all the way?
Step your game up. Don't let people, probably, how old is Selena? Maybe 25, 26. Some of the girls in the Pussycat Dolls are in their 40s at this point. Don't let these girls outperform you, and they're like 20 years older in age. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, but I'm just saying, put in that time, put in that effort, because it shows up on TV.
But you know what though? Like, speaking of Selena, like that whole performance was a shit show because it wasn't just her dancing, but like if you looked at the choreography, it was terrible.
Seriously.
Like, who is your team?
If they did say that she was having like panic attacks before the show and like anxiety and things like that, so I don't want to put her down for like mental health and things like that. So I don't want that to come across.
But that doesn't have anything to do with her dancers.
Preparation. There's preparation when that is your job. That is your job is to be prepared to entertain us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. So that's why I was like, okay, the Pussycat Dolls are back. Come on.
They laid it down.
What other group was killing it like this in the last 10 years? Maybe Fifth Harmony here and there. Other than that, what other girl group came out?
I mean, you have to remember Danny Kane. I'm sorry, I had to give the shout out to Danny Kane. They couldn't keep their shit together either. They couldn't keep their shit together either. That's true. That is absolutely true. But Pussycat Dolls were the girl group in the last decade. Like
exactly. After Destiny's Child, it was
that was
BCD.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had that little waterfall moment that came down.
Yeah.
And they hit that note. I was like, come on, bitches. Yes. So anyway, I didn't mean to turn this whole episode into a music episode. Damn. My bad, y'all. But the Pussycat Dolls
She ain't
are back.
sorry, y'all. Don't listen to that. She living her best life. She's feeling good, right?
Right, exactly. She got her nipples all tingling and whatnot. Her shoulders ain't stopped rocking since she got on the podcast.
Don't you wish your boyfriend was high like me?
And you cannot pretend that you did not catch your 16-year-old little life to them Pussycat Dolls.
Literally. I thought I was the 7th member when they was out. I was like, loosen up my buttons, baby. But yeah, the other girls still ain't singing though. You're right.
I saw them the first year that they started like doing tours before they like became big, and they had their first video release, and it was New York City Pride 2000 and. Ooh.
God, it's got to be like 2005 or something.
I was going to say it was like 2004, 2003. Yeah, so this is when, the artists, how artists have to do like, like the festival circuit before they get to the big league and they can actually start booking concert halls and whatnot. And this was out on the Chelsea Piers back in 2002, 2003.
He was on the Piers. What else were you doing on the Piers?
The whole stroll.
I know that's right.
This is Pride. So, it was a whole party.
Exactly.
Party.
My point is
a whole party, okay?
Minus the W.
And look, you know what they say. A hole is just a hole. But no, we saw them and they were terrible. Oh my God. But first of all, you have no production whatsoever. Like when you're just starting out. So they were put on this little platform that couldn't have been no bigger than like 3 feet in depth and maybe I want to say like 12 feet long. So they literally were on a platform. So they couldn't do anything. The choreography was all off. You couldn't hear anything because everybody was like, high on ecstasy and, and whatever else. But whatnot. But I do remember seeing them. I was like, oh yeah, they cute, but they can't sing.
Oh, that's okay.
But they got their stuff together. And look at here we are. And here we are 15 years later.
Popping that pussy still.
Yes. But it would be nice if they did have a comeback, but not just like off of their old songs, but like if they could come out with some really good music.
So the one where the waterfall came on them, that's a new song, and I guess it's going to be released soon, they said. So I was like, okay, let's see what they're doing. It's still going to just be the Nicole show, but hey, I mean, ride that mule till she break, I guess.
Dang,
well, look, Nicole had to come back because she didn't try every which way from Sunday to try to break out her own career. And honestly, work. I just don't I don't know why. Like she's got a good voice. She clearly has stage presence, but she just could never catch on.
Sometimes people just need to realize your situation is great. Like you're doing all the singing as it is. Like so,
like Marie.
Right. Well, A-Marie was a solo though.
Yeah, she was always a solo.
Yeah.
She was never in a group. I love A-Marie though. Don't sleep on A-Marie.
I love me some A-Marie.
Don't sleep on A-Marie. Love me some A-Marie.
However she spells her name, I like her.
Right. 1 eye, 2 eyes. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of like somebody who has like all the goods to be like super, super big. You know what I mean? But never really like cut on.
Yeah, no, Amory was dope. But anyway, sorry about all this music. And there's gonna be some more music later in the episode. So what else is going on? I don't even know.
Do you want to talk about prep?
Oh, yes, that is true. So if you guys haven't heard, the government is going to give out free prep now. And what it is, if you're not insured, and you don't have like a prescription under your insurance or anything, and you want to be on prep, you can now be on prep, and it'll be government funded, which is awesome. They partnered up with Gilead. Is it Gilead or Gilead? Is it a hard G or soft G? They're the ones that make Truvada. And there's another one out there now that I think they also make that was approved for this program. So if you're in the gay community, and a lot of times you don't have to be in the gay community, but a lot of times PrEP is within the LGBTQIA plus community, and you want to be on PrEP, obviously you get checked out to ensure that you're HIV negative. And now you have options instead of spending hundreds of dollars every time you need a new prescription. Go through this program, and we'll post this on Facebook and IG so you're aware and where to go look at, and the websites and everything. But that's awesome news. That's progressive of the government.
Did they say, because I didn't get a chance to read the article, did the article say anything about the blood test? Because usually when you're on that kind of medication, you have to take blood tests like every
3 months,
9 months or 90 days.
Yeah, 90 days. It didn't, but it did say the 3 major drugstores, so Walgreens, Rite Aid, and CVS Health, have donated their prescribing services for the program, and they will also have the medications available no later than March 30th of 2020. They will also provide patient counseling services and promote adherence to the drug regimen for maximum effectiveness, making it virtually impossible to acquire the virus. The medication must be taken daily. So I'm assuming if you go to the Walgreens and CVS's, they have a lot of those minute clinics and everything like that you would be able to check in with the nurse and make sure that you're staying on the regimen, and to make sure that your blood tests and bone density and all that stuff is regulated. But hey, that's a step in the right direction to help our community with this disease that's still prevalent and out there, and the lack of education that a lot of people have on it. This is a great step in the right direction. So.
Mm-hmm.
And did you guys also see the controversy with DWade and his kids, speaking of just like the LGBTQIA plus communities, where Gabby Union on Thanksgiving posted a picture of her, what is his name? Zion, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne and their little girl. And Zion had like a little crop top. I'm here for a crop top, so I was all the way here for it. But then also had like fake nails and everything. And obviously the IG and the internet trolls were coming for them, saying, why would you allow your son to wear that, and throwing it in our faces, and et cetera, et cetera. And DWade stopped them in their track like, hold up. Nope. Yeah. As a father, I'm supposed to make sure that my kids are seen and feel like they're seen. And I'm here to protect them as their father and the head of this household. So y'all ain't going to say nothing about them. I'm coming for you, A. Facts. And B, let him feel like he can express himself the way he needs to express himself.
But
B, which is awesome.
I love with the dignity and grace with which he clapped back, because he wrote, I've seen some post-Thanksgiving hate on social media about my family photo. Stupidity is part of this world we live in, so I get it. But here's the thing. I've been chosen to lead my family, not y'all. So you will continue to, so we will continue to be us and support each other with love, pride, and a smile. And I just love how you just shut that whole thing down.
Me too. Yep.
You worry about what's going on over there. I'll worry about what's going on in my house. And neither the tween should meet.
Yeah. And the thing I like about this as well, too, is the fact that, this isn't the first time they've been supportive of his son. If we remember back Pride Month, Gabrielle Union and the family took their son to Miami Pride, and I believe he was in the float and everything too. And DWade posted a photo then, because I believe he was playing the Toronto Raptors, and he was like, I couldn't be there to support my family, and so love and support, but so glad that he was able to live his truth and be happy. And that's when people first started realizing that, okay, well, maybe his son may be part of the LGBTQIA spectrum, whatever. But regardless of the fact, he's a child, and the fact that grown people are uncertain in their lives and or their opinions into how a child is living, first of all, he has a roof over his head. He has a
Number
shirt on
one.
his back, and he has
Number
food in
two.
his stomach.
Number three.
Fourth, he is happy and supported. Do you know how
Mm-hmm.
many people in this country don't have neither of those damn things? But yet you want to fix your mouth to say something about someone else that is living their best life and healthy and got nothing to do with you.
You better preach to
Point
them.
that energy to somewhere else that actually does matter, and there should be some change at. If you want to speak on something that's real and that should be talked about, not something that ain't got nothing to do with you, your mama, your children, or anyone else you related to or know
And
of.
your cousin too. Come on now.
I can't stand people who always insert their lives or insert their opinions in someone else's business. They ain't got shit to do with them. Go find some business.
I ain't got nothing else to say to that. We can have the benediction at this point.
Is it time for the offering?
Girl.
Send the platter around.
Mm-hmm. And I like too that his older brother, who's like a great basketball player as well, posted something on IG. It was him and his brother in the picture and said, "Oh, we didn't ask you for your opinion either," or something like that. And I was like, there we go. So I just love the brotherly love support as well, especially in like the POC communities, because we're quick to support each other, but we're quick to tear each other down, it seems like sometimes. And
Say that again.
I think we're so fixated with some element of assimilation, like things have to look a certain kind of way. And I think we, particularly as I guess I can only speak from a Black point of view, I feel like we as Black Americans are particularly fixated on things need to look a certain kind of way. And if it doesn't look within this box of what it's supposed to be, then we have a problem with that. Not realizing that there is no box.
But the other thing to that too is that, like, for some reason, and I see this a lot in the POC culture, like, there's always acceptance. There's no acceptance until it affects you, until you know someone, until your child is LGBTQIA plus, or your child or cousin of someone that you're close to or a loved one is going through someone, then people want to give a damn. It feels like we fall short on empathy real quick unless it has something to do directly with us. And
just honestly, that's not even just a POC thing. That's like an everybody thing.
True. That's true.
That's
absolutely. Absolutely.
But where do you feel like it stems from within our community? Is it just because we were so held down for so long that, like, now we didn't want to mess it up when we became free, quote unquote? And like you said, like, we gotta make sure things look a certain way, quote unquote. Just so
I'm about to
assimilate to culture. Like,
I'm about to wind the PK up here for a second.
Hold on one second. Okay,
I'm about to wind the PK up real quick.
I gotta put a pause out there for all the community. Y'all, if you driving right now, you might as well put your car in park.
Because here we go.
I was just simply going to say that I think religion has a lot to do with it. And I say that here in the country because, like, a lot of the country, like, that's where there's laws where it says separation of religion and state because of how prevalent, like, religion is as far as what makes up our country. You know, like we even say, "In God we trust." You know, when it comes to the government, you know, and it's just so I think religion has a lot to do with it, but I also think the fact that there is a lot of still segregation, or even before that there hasn't been a lot of acceptance in general of each other too. Like, how the country was even founded was never founded on acceptance. You know, so it's hard to expect that when the root of how this country became to be was never existed then.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah,
that wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I must have said the right thing. I must have said the right things because I was ready. I was like, I don't know. Let me sure I can articulate this correctly.
I knew you were going to say more of the religion thing, but it's just like part of me, even with religion was so crucial because there was nothing else they could hold on to during that point. You know, that's why I think it was just so ingrained in our culture, in a Black culture, because literally when you're getting whipped, and you seeing people getting lynched, and seeing people get shot, what else do you have? You know, who else can you run to at that point? And I think that's why it's so ingrained in Black culture specifically. Not that Christianity or anything is not ingrained anywhere else, but I just feel like that's why it's so ingrained in our culture, because we had no other choice, honestly, you know. But it's just interesting that, like, once we became free, a lot of the issues, and I always talk about, like, the post-traumatic stress, that if you don't deal with it, it's going to continue to rear its ugly head in generations to come. And I think that's where some of it might stem from, where we just never had the opportunities and the wherewithal and the money and things like that to deal with a lot of it, especially when the country refuses to deal with it as well, like at all levels of the country. It's like, so if the country ain't ready to deal with it, it's going to be even harder for, like, our culture and other POC cultures to be able to move on and do better, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I didn't mean to get that deep for this topic, but it's just interesting that it's just like we find ways to tear each other down when we need to continue to bring each other up.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's just like, you mad because he looked better than you in a crop top and some nails? Like, is that it? Like, your stomach all the way out and his ain't? And he's a child.
A child.
So leave children alone. Like, don't talk about other people's kids. Like, you wouldn't want people to talk about your kids. Like, you get heated when people talk about your kids, but then you're going to get on IG and comment like that? Come on now. So sorry about that. Go ahead, Dawon.
No. I feel like much in the political climate that we have, you know, where it's, you know, people are clinging on to, you know, Trump and whatnot. I feel like there are a lot of, particularly in, like, the POC culture, we see the waves of change happening and people are just not ready for it. And the very first thing when there's massive change happening is people get defensive or they attack. It's kind of like, you know, you know, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to understand this. I'm not going to understand it, and I'm going to attack it because it's wrong, you know. And we're just in this space, and I love that we have these really great examples of heads of household men who are defending their child's right to choose how they want to be and express themselves, and demonstrate that you can love your child and it has no impact on your own sexuality or masculinity or femininity or whatever. That love is just supposed to be that, just love, not conditional, but just given freely.
You know, and speaking of, like, you know, change, can we talk about Pete Buttigieg and him needing to change his idea or thoughts on ringing the bell for Salvation Army? Talk about backwards. Like, come on now. Like, we know that Salvation Army donates a lot of money and proceeds to anti-LGBTQIA plus. Like,
I mean,
organization.
When Jarrell texted us, when I sent back that Tamar one where her rolling her neck. I tried to tell y'all there's something off a little bit with Pete. But don't get me wrong, though. If he becomes a nomination, I'm voting for that ass. I mean, just saying. But I still feel he still needs a lot of living to do. I feel like he still doesn't completely represent for the minority communities, even though he is one, like, he's gay.
I don't think he really,
but outside
truly
of that, I don't
one.
think.
Outside of being gay, I don't think he understands what being a minority means at all whatsoever. And I think that's just because he's a white man. And so a lot of his life experiences has still been influenced by the white privilege, by being a white man.
I agree with that statement.
And so I don't think he truly understands what it's like to be a gay man because of the fact, I take that back. Not be a gay man, but I don't think he understands a lot of the things that we've gone through as gay men because of the privilege he has by being a white man. You know,
and almost like a white man of a certain economic status as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's even more key than just, like, broadly painting the white man. Like, I think there's a certain class of people that there's just certain struggles that money helps cover up, honestly. Which is what the American dream is. We're all trying to succeed and have enough coin to not have to deal with certain struggles.
And I do want to point out, and I'm not saying that all white people are like that, because I know plenty of white people who have struggled just as much as I have as a black man in this world too. So I mean, as a person of color, financially, I should say, you know, so there are struggles that white people go through too financially that may not be erased. But in this instance here, I don't think he understands, and I don't think he's gone through similar things like some of us who have had to struggle financially growing up.
And I just
But
think
of
the
its own.
imagery of him shaking that bell, because now opponents can utilize that, like that, it's just little stuff like that he continues to do that I'm like, I don't think he fully sees
Gets
the
it.
picture and doesn't fully get it exactly. So that's why for this past however many months we've been talking about Pete.
The vets for vote, like the
That's
organization.
huge.
Yeah,
that's
like they're a
huge.
liberal
That's
group
huge.
of veterans who they have never endorsed a candidate before the nominations, and this is the first time, and he's gotten their vote,
And that's awesome.
which is awesome. But I think if we go back to what we talked about, how he has an issue with the POC vote, I think this is a perfect example of why he has that, because he doesn't. I don't think he sees outside of his own life. I don't think he does.
Yeah.
I don't think he
It's
knows
hard for
how
him to give that empathy outside of what he sees. Yeah.
Yes.
It also makes you wonder what people he has around him in his camp.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
this should not, like, these kind of events go through several different people before he just
Yeah.
shows up.
Right.
You know, so
Absolutely.
it makes you wonder, who does he surround himself with that would
Yeah.
not be like, did they did they think that this situation was worth the political what is that word when it's
Almost like
you give
baggage of
up?
it.
It's like, did he have the political capital to spend,
Right.
knowing that he would lose some votes because he might get this endorsement, and that his folks around him thought that this was a good bet?
And I guarantee this is what happened, because the article mentioned that he's been doing this for years. So like just knowing, so living in where he's the mayor, like I lived there for a while, and it's a tight knit community. It's a small area. So I guarantee, like, it's people that he's been supporting forever, be like, oh, yes, I'll help with the ringing of the bell. Done it forever. And that's probably literally that simple of the thought process of what he thought. He's like, I've done it for years. I know Joe Schmo that owns the building,
But you can't be thinking like that as president. You can't be thinking like that as
Oh,
president.
I agree.
though.
But I'm just saying I guarantee you that's what it was. It's just like, okay, it's a small, tight-knit community. I've rang this bell for the last 5 years, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I'm going to continue to do so. But now that you're running for president, you got to see what that visually does to your campaign now.
Yeah.
And there's going to be people in social media and all across the board, especially within the LGBTQI plus community, saying, hold up, Playboy. Like, Anthony, you were supporting Chick-fil-A before this as well. And so the optics of it isn't good, at least for our community. But overall, I mean, people like the Salvation Army, so it could be a good move overall, honestly, still, too.
He reminds me of a Beto,
mm,
what was it? Beto O'Rourke or whatever his name was.
Uh-huh.
Like he reminds me a little bit of him, who just needs to like learn
live
a little bit more. Like I think has all the right intentions, but falls short by not having the knowledge.
Right.
To actually follow through with the execution.
Think
like,
a little more macro.
Yeah,
think
like
a little more community-wise.
Right. It's like he sees the end goal, but he's like, I'm going to actually go this way, and then I'm going to come all the way around and get back there. And I'm like, no, honey, it don't need to be that complicated. Like, keep it simple, keep it cute, and go this way,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, but that's y'all homeboy, not mine.
That's not my homeboy. No, ma'am. I know we from the same state.
I won't say that.
I know we from the same
Honestly, I think
state.
he's very smart. I think he actually would be a great president. Maybe not now, maybe in another decade, because I just genuinely feel like he needs
more
to
time.
cook a little more.
Just cook a little more. Right. Right. Just a little more. But however, let him get that nomination. I'll be the first one on the train supporting him, because
I agree.
we ain't keeping old
Trump.
boy in the White House.
Oh, we know
the
Trump
killer
can't be
part
that
about
guy.
it, we've been having this conversation in our household about just the primaries that are coming up next year. And it's just like part of me, and I'll just share, just all transparency. I'm so conflicted. Number one, on who to vote for. Number two, does it even matter? Because at the end of the day, if I know that I'm going to throw my support to whoever gets the nomination, does it really matter?
It's like insert that emoji with both hands up.
I mean, and I don't mean to say that like I'm just going to like not vote, because I recognize that it is my patriotic duty and responsibility to cast my vote every single time I can. So I will, but I'm really conflicted about who I would vote for. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who I would vote for, because whoever gets the most votes will get the nomination. I'm going to throw my support behind them anyway. So it's like
exactly
the idea of like these great philosophical debates that are happening on Facebook between, like, if I scroll through the timeline and you see people like just going ham on, dissecting everything that this candidate and that candidate is doing. It's like, at the end of the day, you're going to throw hopefully you're going to throw your support behind whoever got the blue. So what is it worth all the energy?
I agree.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see Biden when Kamala dropped out the race, and like a reporter was like, "Oh, did you hear that it's being reported that Kamala's dropping out?" And he wasn't doing like a victory dance. He was just like, "Really? Wait, I haven't heard that." And she was like, "Yeah, it's been reported this and that." And he was just like, "Wow, he's like, it's kind of bittersweet because she's a smart, intelligent lady. She's putting up a great fight, et cetera, et cetera." Like, he was giving her compliments. And I was like, that's what we need to do on the Democratic side right now. I don't want to see nobody doing a dance with people dropping out, because that gives the other side too much ammo to come at us saying, "Oh, see, they said that Kamala does XYZ. So why now is she your vice president nomination? Or why is she, don't do it. Don't do it." We're all on the same side.
All I'm saying is I called that ticket back in March. And I said Biden, Kamala Harris would be a really good, solid freaking ticket. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that Kamala just said, she's like, just because I'm giving up, she's like, "Trump, I'll see you in court."
Yeah, right. I did like that.
I was like, get him, Kamala.
I will want to note, though, too, like, since she's dropped out, like, now at this point, there are no POCs that have qualified for the December Democratic debates, which is really sad, to be honest. I mean, there's still a few days left for Cory Booker and Andrew Yang to qualify, and Gabbard as well. But it's going to be really hard for them to qualify at this point, because they're just so far behind. And it's disappointing, because this is, I want to say, the first time in a long time where we've seen so much diversity in the ticket. And I feel like it's also kind of set up to weed out POC people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's set up in a way to weed out the people who actually relate more to the everyday American, and just allow politicians who are currently in some type of office to thrive better than people who are actually on the ground doing the work.
I can see that.
I mean,
but I also see that, we still have somebody that's part of the LGBT community part in the race. There's still a woman in the race. Mm-hmm. And, I think we've just got some really great, reasonable top candidates that unlike what happened in the, on the GOP side, when those candidates were up there and they were all talking about the size of each other's hands. I mean, like, we're actually getting policy conversations and thoughtfulness, and we have some really great candidates to consider. So,
and I always think like the long term too, like the little kid that's watching it now that once again sees us able to get up there on the Democratic stage and represent the country, seeing like the Cory Bookers or the Alex Yangs, or spacing out on names right now. But it's just like, yes, right now it kind of stinks, but who knows what's going to come in 20 years from now, the long play of continuing to see representation up there.
Well,
and we don't know who the VP selections will be.
Wait, say that again?
Wait,
I was just saying, like, if they're not on there, though, the representation goes away.
Right.
What I was saying is we also don't know who the VP selections would be.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's still a year away, a little under a year now. But I mean, yes, if a person of color or a minority isn't ultimately the nomination, at least in this process now, we're continuing to see more and more representation, and more people are going to be like, okay, yes, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be hard. But now I'm able to, because like you said, we haven't seen this much representation for women, for gays, for Black people, for Hispanic people, for Asian folks. Like,
It's
ever,
great.
honestly.
Yeah.
It
It's great.
just sucks how much money is in play as far as what it takes to run our country. And it's just
Yeah,
like
that's true too.
it shouldn't be that how much money you have that takes to run a country. It should be about your policies, your your ethics, and like like who you are as a person more so. And I just hate that it's just so much about money, because just because you got money don't mean you're the right person. Hello, look at the person in the office right now. Like people thought that was the route and how it was supposed to be, and look where we are now. Like
But you know what? You talk to like some small business owners, and they're singing a very different tune. I mean, we were
absolutely.
just home.
Yeah.
We were just home, and having some great conversations. Very open and non-judgmental conversations between family members on that voted on both sides of the table. And what I'll share is that on one side you have somebody who voted for Barack Obama twice. And then one of the things that went in was Obamacare. And that hurt his small business significantly. He pays, I mean, not trying to put people's business out, but pays tens of thousands of dollars in healthcare as a small business. Whereas we who have, corporate jobs and whatnot, we don't feel that kind of heat.
Yeah.
But now, even though he's still doing that, he's also seeing like, their personal wealth increase because of their 401k's doing better, because the economy's doing better, and they have a lot less tax restrictions from a small business perspective. So, I just share that to say that there's not that I'm excusing the behavior of the person that's in the office right now, but what I am saying is that there are some very real factors that are driving a lot of people's voting decisions around how it impacts them personally. And conversely, so are we.
And I've seen it too. Like I don't want to put, like you said, people's business out there. There's someone very close to Cora and I, and that's literally the same thing that we hear is that fiscally, they can't argue with what's going on right now. And I get it. I mean, Wu-Tang told us back in the 90s, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Like, at the end of the day, as much as people stand on their morals and stand on this, there's still a lot of people, once it comes down to that dollar, it trumps, no pun intended, a lot of their decision making.
And that's where I differ from other people. And I know I don't have a lot of money to be able to be in the same situations or whatever, but I know that like I, as a human being, I just know I couldn't sleep if I know that like what I do affects other people negatively. Period. That's just who I am. I just can't sleep. I just in my good mind and my good heart, I just could not live with myself knowing that if I didn't do this, then other people would lose out. Like if I can do something and yeah, maybe it's more work for me, but it benefits other people, I'm going to choose the harder road for myself to make it easier for other people. Because I know if I'm making it easier for other people, guess what? That means they have the choice, or at least I'm taking a burden off of them that could make it easier for them to do something for other people. It's the ripple effect. I know that my hardship and taking that load will hopefully be able to allow that person to be able to do that in their lives as well.
I agree. But here's almost like the devil's advocate of that. Maybe not even that. It's just like a lot of times with small business owners, when they're doing better because of tax breaks, for them, they're able to give better insurance. They're able, so there's still pros of helping your community with certain tax breaks. So that's when it gets kind of convoluted and gray and tough to make, the right decision. Because in your mind, you're thinking, okay, if I potentially vote, say, for a Democrat and they do raise the taxes, I'm going to be losing out on dollars that could help take away some of the stress of paying for healthcare in my small business. I'm right now able to potentially pass on, not everybody's doing it, by the way, but pass on the saving benefits right now of the tax breaks onto the 10 employees that I have, that I know one kid has cancer right now, so that's how a lot of the moral stuff gets grayed out in some of these situations, because personally for them, they're seeing as a small business owner the day in, day out of the stresses of maybe folks that they're working for them that aren't making as much as the business owner, and so that's where it's crazy. However,
but
for
that's
me,
that conversation of
when I see
healthcare
Trump,
comes into play. That's why it's a topic, and that's why that's something
right, exactly.
because I agree. I mean, those are some tough ass decisions. There's a lot of gray in there, and it really is choosing the lesser two evils. To be honest, it honestly is. It's like, do you make it easier so you can provide health care for the people that you employ, or do you make it harder for them to get insurance, but you're making it better for other people that have nothing to do with what you're doing in your life?
Yeah. So, but for me, ultimately, Trump is just a horrible human being. So that's
True.
what
I think we could
trumps
all agree with
everything
that.
for me. So, despite the tax brackets and all that, Trump is a horrible human being. So,
One of the things that I
with
learned,
everything else.
I'm sorry. One of the things that I learned, I would say experienced over the course of this past weekend, in fact, the past couple of weekends, and like, because 'tis the season with family, right? And it's also when you're getting around the dinner table or whatever, these kind of conversations come up. You guys ask your questions to us, your aunties, all the time, and a lot of them are political and whatnot. And I'll say that the thing that I experienced this past weekend was having a really open and honest conversation with someone that did not share the same political views, but it was a conversation that was about understanding the other person's perspective without demonizing them for what and how they believe. Like, I don't get me wrong. I'm not excusing the behavior of Trump in the office, because I think we can all agree that there's behavior that is unbecoming of the highest office of the land. But I think where we differ from those that don't vote blue is we have the opportunity to have these conversations and, approach it with some understanding, to find some area of common ground. And, you may not listen, you can't convince nobody to do anything or believe anything. That's just the reality. You can't convince people, but what you can do is, lead them to water and show them, other ways of thinking. And if you're both approaching the conversation with an open mind, you might reach a point of understanding. But if not, and you're just kind of like trying to get your point across, come hell or high water, then, people close off to that kind of communication.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good time to actually go into our Ask Your Aunties for the week. It kind of hits on similar notes about the holidays. So what time is it?
Ask your aunties.
Bow, 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 bow.
One of these days, we're going to get synced up on the Ask Your Aunties, because we be all off key.
I love it. Be like, ask your aunties. Get the jazz hands and everything. Let's see. Do you have it up, Dawon?
I just pulled away from it here.
I do.
Here real quick.
You have it, Jarrell?
You got it? Oh,
okay.
So the Ask Your Aunties is, how do you deal with a needy person when you yourself don't need as much attention as they do?
Short and succinct.
I'm like, I need more context for this, for one. Because, what do they need?
So they said, it's like I don't text equates to, or I don't care, or if I don't call, they tell me I only think of them as an afterthought. So it's basically as far as like a needy person who likes to communicate more than you, it seems like.
My gut reaction, is this might be a mismatch. Because the reality of it is that when you are dating somebody, and we're not even talking about being in I'm assuming this person is not in a relationship with this individual. So if you're just dating, and albeit casual dating, that's like the moment where it should be the least amount of stress. And if you're already you're just dating and you don't really know whether or not this thing is even going to go to the distance, and you're already starting to have these kinds of points of friction, boo, this might not be the one for you. Leave it alone.
Just let it be said.
but if you're, Conversely, if you have strong feeling, because we don't, based on what this thing, not thing, not thing, but the ask your auntie question. I'm looking at it here, like the spreadsheet. But based on what was asked, it's unclear that this is a person that they've expressed interest in, like a long term. So I'm assuming that this is kind of like a casual. But if this were not a casual and you were committed to this person, then that then becomes a conversation about how then can you find some kind of compromise. But if you guys are just dating and you're already finding that there is this point of contention and you don't even know yet whether or not this will turn in or blossom into something a little bit more long term, life is too short. Cut your losses and move on.
But what if he's digmatized? No, just fair. Because that was an episode.
That's why he's asking your aunties.
Exactly. He's like, but the sex is good. I agree. Like, it almost sounds like it's a love language issue. Like, and if you don't know what love language is, how many are there? Like 6 or 7 or something like that?
7.
5 or 6. Anyway, and it could just be, like you said, like a mixed match of love languages. Communicate it. Let it be known, honestly. Just be like, okay, hey, if I don't text back immediately, it does not mean I don't care. It might be I'm in a meeting. I just need time to think, whatever. Over communicate in that situation of what you need out of it. Mm-hmm. Since this person sounds like they need communication, over communicate. Be like, this is what it means. It does not mean X, Y, Z. I'll state it again. It does not mean X, Y, Z. It means this. If you can't handle that and it's an early dating situation like the one said, yeah, it might be time to just be like, I ain't got the time and energy today. Mm-mm. Next person. Thank you, next. Mm-hmm. But if it is something you're already in an established relationship, obviously it's probably been like that since the beginning, honestly. It doesn't just show up. Then over communicate. That person needs over communication, and that's when they feel settled and seen and heard. However, just let them know that it can't be over communication in every situation because I have a job to do. I have stuff going on. Life goes on, blah, blah, blah. But it does not mean I do not care. Let that be said. So I think just provide clarity. If you're not able to over communicate that and it's driving you nuts, count your losses and move on to the person that don't need it.
It ain't worth it.
It really
isn't.
It
ain't worth it. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, and I don't want to put a damper on your Ask Your Aunties, but some of y'all in y'all dating situations be putting up with way too much, and you don't even know if it's going to last. Like, it's not there. I'm just going to put it out there. Like, if it's too hard this early,
you ain't that lonely.
Confused black girl meme.
I'm gonna say my little piece, and I think I agree with you guys as far as like that's the type of stuff when you're dating you need to talk about your communication. Like there have been times where I know I can be needy. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely can be needy, but I'm pretty chill for the most part. But like, I know it takes a lot for me to feel like I'm being ghosted or being dismissed if a person isn't responding back to me. Like, especially if I see you posting something on social media and you on IG, you liking my photos and shit like that, but you can't text my ass back. We got some issues.
But maybe because maybe that's a sign to you to be like, oh my God, I need to chill my ass out because if they don't want to text me back, I need to chill. That's what I was
about to say. And so the person that's writing this, like if you're constantly on your phone and you're doing all this other stuff, letting it be known that you're on social media, but you can't take the time to text them back, they're not a needy person. You're just not thinking about them. You're being completely absent-minded about the other individual in the situation. Okay, like that's something that you need to work on. And it's not okay to label someone else needy if you know you can take the time to actually respond back to a fucking text message. Period.
That's true too.
But I will also say if you just are absent-minded and you just keep forgetting, a good way is just set a reminder, put it on your calendar to make sure that you just designate 15 hours, 15 minutes in the morning. Right.
You just gave somebody a heart attack.
Right. Not 15 hours. But put it on your calendar. It's like 15 minutes at 10:45 every morning to just make sure you text this person saying hello. And then be another 15 minutes at 6:30 p.m., during the workday when it's just getting going, so you can send them a good, have a good day little message, and then post-work message being like, hey, hope you had a good day, blah, 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 boom, and then of course in between there, if you have time to reach out to the person. But like, there's ways to do it where you don't have to break yourself or change who you are to communicate more to someone else.
Yeah, that's true. And if you truly care about that person, you will find a common ground.
Absolutely.
Or at least try to match their needs more often, you know, and not be as stubborn and things like that. Like, that's how I feel. Like, there's stuff, like, I'm married, and there's stuff that I couldn't care less about doing, but I know it matters to my husband, so I do it. I might bitch and moan about it here and there, but the solely reason is because I care about that human being and want to see that human being happy.
I love hearing you saying I'm married and my husband. You're just so cute, man. You're so damn cute. Come on, goals. Damn.
I know I had to check something like when I got my job. I can't remember if I said that on here or not. But when I got my job on like taxes and things like that, you got to file married or like single or married without holding or something, whatever. And to check that married was so weird. It was so bizarre. I was like, whoa, I was married now. But like, even I was just like, whoa, like, I guess I'm a grown up now. It was so bizarre. How bizarre. But yeah, like, but ultimately there's stuff that I might think Corey might be more needy, and I'm sure there's stuff that he thinks I'm more needy about. But ultimately, if you care about that human being a lot, you're going to find some common ground and communicate what you need. And if they're saying that I need you to be more open and more, what's the word I'm looking for, in the moment, then pick and choose your battles. And like, it's not that hard to text. It's not that hard to give an extra little hug or something.
The killer part about it is they describe the person that they're dealing with as how do you deal with a needy person?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you see, like, at the end of the day, that's how you see this person. Ooh. So you don't even see this person as a person that you value and care about enough to do those things. So my question is, why are you dealing with them? Like, I totally get what both you guys are saying. Like, if this is somebody that you are really genuinely interested in getting to know and build, see if there's something really valuable in there, and they're telling you what they need.
Yeah.
That doesn't automatically mean that they're needy. It's just like you would tell your husband, hey, I like it when you communicate like this, or I don't like it when you communicate like that. That's you expressing what you need as an individual, and it's up to them to respond. So that's great communication. But if your perception of the person that you're with is that they are a needy person and you don't need as much attention as they need, that already tells you dealing with the wrong boo.
Ooh, I think you win. You win, Dawon. That's right. That's true. I never thought about it that way. They already perceive them as that.
Right.
And it's just going to boil up even more as time goes on. It's not going to go away.
You're in the honeymoon period now. Like when you're like first getting to know somebody and the sex is real good and you can't wait to see them and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, texting sexy things in the middle of the day between your meetings.
Some of us ain't
doing
that. Some of us ain't doing that at the beginning.
In the early part of the relationship, girl.
Yeah. We ain't doing that. Okay.
As she polishes off her glass of Chardonnay.
Right. Don't kiss me in my mouth.
But the early part of the relationship is supposed to be fun and exciting and wonderful and just you're exploring things and figuring things out. But if you already have a picture of this person as they're a needy person and you don't need as much attention as they need, girl, why are you wasting your time?
Yeah. So on that note, thank you for sending in your question. Continue to send in your Ask Your Aunties questions. We need some new ones. We need some new juicy ones. Come on. Yes, we do have a queue, but we need your new questions. Don't be scared. If something happened over Christmas break or Thanksgiving break or whatever, send your question in. You can remain anonymous. We'll leave your name out of it.
Or maybe it's not even to ask your aunties, but maybe it's something you want to tell your aunties.
Yeah, tell us something.
So like, I know, like, because I was just sitting here thinking, we're coming back off of the holidays, a couple of weeks and whatnot, and a lot of y'all, like us, went home to like your hometowns, and you did the Mariah Carey, where you walk around to like grace all of your old high school friends with your glow up because you now live in a big city and they still living at home and whatnot. And then you might have turned on that grinder and then got some hookups. Like, don't just ask your aunties. Tell your aunties.
True. I like that, Dawon. Tell your aunties.
Right.
Tell me something
we
good.
We ain't the only ones spilling tea. Y'all got tea out there. We can spill that for you.
That's true. Spill the tea. That's the news segment. Yes. Spill the mother effing tea.
So if you got some tea to spill, baby, just send us a DM or an email at aya@minorittyreport.com.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
we need some juice. Everybody likes a little juice, first thing in the morning when you're getting ready to go to work and whatnot.
The thirst is real. Bay your thirst, Sprite, bitch. Yes. Oh, man. So last week, we did a little segment where we realized it's the end of the decade and the end of the year. So we're going to continue that this week. Last week, we kind of gave our literally our glow up of the last decade, really. It kind of got a little deep there. This week will be a little lighthearted, a little better. And what we're going to do is give our favorite songs of the year and our favorite songs of the decade, and maybe even throw a couple albums in there. What was your favorite? And see, you probably get a really taste of like our probably differences in music and everything like that. I'm sure Beyonce will be on there, though.
Are you sure?
Like half the
list.
But this was hard for me. A decade, you forget there's a shit ton of songs that come out, and then just to say what is the best of the best for you. Woo, that was hard. And trying to remember what I even listened to like 10 years ago was hard. Who wants to start it off?
Let's let you start because you probably got the most to say. So let's make the room for you. Let's give you the flow.
Oh Lord! So I'll start. Should I start with albums? I'll start with an album. Actually,
start with albums.
So this was difficult because there was a lot of good albums. The one that really kind of stands out, and I tried to do my 10, and I'll probably post more on social media just to give you a feel of all of them. But one of the top ones for me was actually Kanye West's What was it?
Why did I have that too?
Twisted Fantasy, or My Best Dark Twisted Fantasy?
My Dark Twisted.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. There we go.
That's what it is.
That album to me was like the peak of Kanye. Like, it was grandiose. It was over the top. It was collaborative. It had everybody on it. It was musical. The visuals were insane. It had Runaway on it. It had Monster on it. It had like all these songs that you're just like, whoa, Kanye, come on. And it honestly, you saw there was two, to me, rappers from the early 2000s that really spurred this generation's rappers. Kanye one and Lil Wayne the other. Yeah. And you just see a lot of copycats of those two rappers. And to start the decade off with that album, brilliant. Fucking brilliant. I can listen to it every day if I needed to and not get tired of it. And it spurred probably the best verse of the decade with Nicki Minaj's Monsters verse.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the verse of the decade.
Absolutely.
On that album.
Yeah.
So that's in my top 10. That's in my top 10 of the decade.
I'll go. Wait, that's your... Okay. I didn't
put mine in order either. Like it was too hard to get down to 10, and it's going to be way too hard to put them in forced order.
So I did have Kanye's Beautiful Twisted Nightmare on there. But
he just renamed the album.
I can't remember. Look.
That's okay, girl. We got you.
Solange, Seat at the Table.
Yep, that's on my list.
That's a good one.
That to me was just an album that was surprise and delight. It was really because I loved every piece of every song on that album, and to this day I can still. And it's not even like a full length album, but just every song on there just spoke to every essence of my soul. Yeah. So
Don't
that's on my list.
Hair.
Yes. Just, it was so good.
I love Solange even before that. Actually, one of her songs on the album before that is one of my top 10 songs of the decade. But I don't think anyone foresaw Solange to put that kind of album out. They knew she was all about
it was a left
culture
curve
and everything, but like we did not know she had that in her.
And which was such a that was like a left curve, and then she came up with the right curve with the last album.
The last one, and she was on Jimmy Fallon this week doing some of those songs, and it reminded me why I did not like the album.
Exactly, because
like,
I mean,
girl.
after she came out with A Seat at the Table, I was so hyped to hear that she was dropping another album. Like, okay, now how is she going to take this to the next level? Are we going to Howard University? What are we doing? And then it was like,
she went to Howard Johnson's, not Howard University.
That's right.
And I forget what episode we talked about that. Look in the catalog, girl. We talked about that Solange album.
So that's definitely in like my top of like albums of all time for this decade. I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you if I didn't put my girl Mariah, Emancipation of Mimi.
That was not from this decade.
I know, but it's still good.
Girl, it's about this decade. She's
I'm gonna be like,
y'all gonna beat on me.
Then that's the case. I'm gonna say, oh, Stevie Wonder,
She took it all the way back.
Michael Jackson,
all the way
Thriller.
back to 2005, girl. She went all the way back to 2005. She said, "I'm gonna do that 15-year challenge, bitch."
Right.
Okay.
Bye. And when you said Mariah, I was like, wait, which one? Because the albums this decade weren't that good.
No, I just put that in there because I still be listening to that album to this day. So that literally, I listened to that album yesterday, the whole one.
I put that on the IG
Correll and I
like
were
a
just
week
talking
ago.
about it. Circles. We were just talking about Circles.
Girl, Circles is so good. Anyway, what you got, Jarrell?
So I have a couple. I have a few. Beyonce Lemonade album. I really like the storytelling of it. I love the songs. I love the intro and outro to each of the songs that kind of bring them together. So Beyonce Lemonade.
So that's your favorite one out of the ones she released this decade?
Yeah, that's gonna be my favorite one. I just felt like I finally, for the first time, got to feel like we got to know Beyonce. Like that was the first time she's been really personal. You know, some of her songs before, she let you in a little bit, you know, with certain songs, but this was a whole album where you're like, Beyonce been going through some shit, you know? So that was my favorite one, my top one. Next would be Her, by Her first album.
You just posted about her this past week.
Yeah. Her writing is unbelievable.
I agree.
And I love that she takes something so simple but makes it so meaningful. You know, like if you listen to some of the chords that she's playing on the guitar, like there are chords that you hear on a lot of regular other songs, but she arranges them in a way that makes it feel so fresh and vibrant. But it's also because you know these chords that draw you in even more. Artistically, she is so clever and smart with how she delivers what she wants you to feel from her lyrics. Like the message is just, it almost reminds me of the gospel, you know, like when you listen to gospel music and you feel your spirit start to be moved, like she does in a way that you can't help but do that.
I just love the tone of her voice.
Yes, and that too.
So
and
dope.
she sounds great live too, bitch.
She does.
She does.
Live.
Like she sounds just like her record.
Yeah.
And then I have two more. I have to give to two non-PLCs. Okay. The first is going to be Ariana Grande, "Dangerous Woman." That
I had
album,
that on a
that
potential
album is
list.
really
That's
good.
a great album.
That album's a really good album forwards to back. There's a lot of good songs, and you can tell that she also put a lot of herself in that album too. And then I have to give this last one out to Dua Lipa. Like Dua Lipa has started to bring a lot of like that 90s feel back to music that has been missing a lot. She started to remind me of like Kylie Minogue right now. Like you just can't help but to dance and just feel joy. She sounds great live. She's also really nice in person too. We got to meet her when we were visiting Corel in Atlanta as well.
Isn't she Albanian?
She's from Kosovo, where Fiznik is from too. So it was really good that when it was really awesome when we got to meet her after waiting like 2 hours in line.
And I'm not gonna tell y'all business how y'all skipped the line.
Oh wait, we sure did skip that line. We were already 2 hours in line, mind you, and then we skipped that damn line
And they
too.
they cut in line. I was like, "Go ahead,
Sure
girls, do what you
did.
gotta do."
Sure did. But she was just so real, and it's just also really cool to see her just interact with her fans and be on Instagram and stuff like that too. You can just see her be like a real person. So yeah, those are gonna be my top 4 albums. And then honorable mention though, Bruno Mars, 24K Magic.
That's a solid album. That's in my top 10.
Slaps. It slaps. I agree with you too, Dawon. Seat at the Table, Solange. And I have to give Neo Nonfiction, not his last album, but the album before.
The one before that.
Well,
is that the one that he had that Juicy J song?
Yes, because
She
I
knows.
know. Yes,
She knows. Yeah, that is a good album. Actually,
that album is really good. And then also Miguel.
Oh wait, hold on. He done pulled the Corral.
No, I didn't go into detail. I didn't go into detail. I kept it short.
He done pulled the Corral.
Yeah.
And
Miguel.
But that's okay because I'm about to have a lot of ands.
Yeah. So, but I only got 5 songs though, so I used it all in my albums.
There we go. All right, so back to the album. So I already said Kanye's. And since you already said Solange, Seat at the Table, I'm going to take that one off. I was struggling. So that gives me an opportunity to put a couple other more here. So
She said a couple more.
I see you with a cigarette trying to... I see you with a glass of whiskey and a cigarette trying to figure out this list.
Girl,
as you think
it was
about
a struggle.
Like the complication.
Because it's like two sides of my brain. Like part of me is just like, production, there's certain albums just production wise where I'm like, golly, how did they do that? Or even songs, and I might not particularly like the lyrics or whatever of the song, but production, I'm like, damn, how did they do that? Oh, I didn't think of doing that before. And then there's other parts where I'm like, oh, I remember there was a time and a place and this song just means so much to me moments. So it was hard for me to combine the two for me, the production side and the emotional side of it. But one album that is so slept on that I never hear people talk about, and it's in my top 10 of the decade, is Diddy Dirty Money, Last Train to Paris.
Oh,
every song on that album is so good. It slaps. The production was insane. Like, it was the one Diddy album where you're like, man, he took his time on this to make sure he got songs that will last and still sound good 10 years later, because I listened to it today and I'm like, this album could come out today and people be like, I have not sonically heard anything like this before. So that's a slept on album.
Hate You Now is still one of my favorite songs. I still listen to that song. Like the arrangement of that song is so dope to me.
Wait, Hate You? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My favorite Beyonce album of the decade is 4. That's an underappreciated album. It was just R&B goodness. The backgrounds on it are good. I can listen to every single song of that album. It was hard to choose which Beyonce album for the decade, by the way.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar, The Pimp of Butterfly is a masterpiece of an album. Oh my God. Like sonically, lyrically, the way he arranged it in the order he did. That album, literally 20 years from now, people are going to look back at that album and be like, whoa, like this still stands the test of time. Damn is a great album by Kendrick Lamar as well.
That's on my list.
But The Pimp of Butterfly was so unapologetically black. Even just the cover is a bunch of black dudes on the front lawn of the White House. Like, it was just a black, giddy, black, jazzy album. It's so dope. Jasmine Sullivan reality show. Listen to it all the time.
I forgot about that damn album. God damn it. Add that to the list. Hell yeah.
That's a great album.
Hell yeah.
It's so slept on too. I think I put it on IG last week. Like, I listened to that album on the regular.
I was literally at the gym just now listening to Mona Lisa, bitch.
Mona Lisa is so good.
Yeah, masterpiece. Yeah.
Oh my God. Come on.
Come on now.
Such a great song. Jay-Z 444. Brilliant. It was like it's on the tails of Lemonade, so it was cool to see his perspective on what happened and it be so sonically and lyrically good. Rihanna Anti, dope album. Watch the Throne, dope album. And another sleeper, Charlie Puth, Voice Notes, is just a sheer brilliant pop album. He produces and writes everything himself, and it's just a great album. So those are some of the top 10. I still had like 20 more that I could get honorable mentions, but I'll shut up now. Go ahead, Dawon.
I just have a couple. So Erykah Badu, But You Can't Use My Phone. That, I know it's not a full album, but it's an EP, and it's a dope ass EP, and it gives me all the early 90s vibes that I needed and wanted in my life.
And she said, what'd she say? I bet I can make you turn your phone off.
I can make it put your phone down. I can make it put your phone down. Ow.
I'm like, come on, Erykah. Badu.
So that one for me is a banger. And that's actually one of the only R&B songs or R&B albums that both Adam and I both love from cover to cover. Every single song. Like, I'll put it on and he'll be jamming to it. He'll put it on and I'll be we both just love it. Yeah, so I love that album. A couple of others that are not of the POC persuasion. Robin, Body Talk.
Yeah, started off the decade.
Robin. All for Robin. Just the whole album is just at the whole song where she's like, I can just see you. I can't get it now. I had a
Dancing
couple.
on My Own.
Yes, that one.
That's funny because it's probably in my top 10 songs of the decade.
It's so funny because like I am more interested in melody than I am about the lyrics. So if you ask me a song, it could be one of my favorite songs and I couldn't even tell you what the lyrics are. But as soon as the song comes on, it comes right back. Yeah. It's so wild. But yeah, that whole album is just like bomb dope to me. I can listen to it cover to cover anytime and it just gets my life. And the last one is Adele, 21. Like,
yeah, you can't deny that one.
I mean, when that song dropped, everybody was in their feelings. Everybody was just like fawning over Adele because it was just a dope ass album.
I personally like 25 better than 21.
I like 19 better than.
19 is good.
19 is so good. That's her first album. I remember when she first came out. I've been a stan from day one. Mm-hmm. But 19, I felt like that was just her authentically. Her and then like I felt like 21 she was pushing.
Just mad.
I feel like they're not just mad, but I feel like you can see like the push for Adele more in 21 than you did in 19.
Growth.
Yeah.
You know what's another slept on album? Alabama Shake's Sound and Color. That album.
I don't know who that is.
So
sorry to that man. I don't
listen
know
to Alabama
Shake. If I would see them
Brittany
in the street.
Howard. I'm going to make you guys listen to Brittany Howard. You will fall in love with this girl's voice. She's from Alabama Shake. She just actually released her solo album like 3 months ago. I'm gonna send it to you guys. You guys are gonna be like, "Whoa, I've been missing out on this."
Do you see these faces?
I guarantee it.
Because we looking at you.
Where have
like,
I steered you wrong?
We look like some damn owls over here. Like,
I mean, Community. Do y'all know who he's talking about? Are y'all standing for them? Because
Community, y'all know Alabama Shakes and Brittany Howard. That's okay. Y'all gonna know.
Watch all on the IG story all next week when this whole thing drops. It's going to be nothing but songs from that album.
That's okay. That's okay.
What would be your top 5 songs of the decade?
Woo. Woo. And this was even harder than the albums for me.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll go first because I'm just going to go right through my list. Okay. Yeah. So I know that there's a whole bunch of Beyonce songs. I'm not like just anything Beyonce is just like part of that. So,
and did you guys do like album cuts or did you do stuff that was released publicly, like videos and all that stuff? So
yeah, I did the top 50.
Okay, that's what I did
basically.
too.
Yeah. So, Migos Bad and Bougie is one of my top ones.
And Migos like changed culture.
Facts.
They like came up with Versace, and then after that it was
triplets. They came up with the triplets. They came up with the triplets.
Or they reintroduced the triplets.
Yeah, they reintroduced it. Yeah, they reintroduced it. Yeah.
Big Sean, I Don't Fuck With You.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Jackson, No Sleep.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z, Ends in Paris. And then the last one, I'm just gonna pick any one of these. I'm gonna say Rihanna, Bitch Better Have My Money.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm not.
Those are
mad
my
at
tops for the decade.
it.
Okay.
Not mad at it.
For me, I have, of course, Formation by Beyonce. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
just can't name a single person who did not just
Get their entire life.
right, and still even now,
Right.
like get their whole entire like. I can't not see her in that Black Panther like Michael Jackson type leotard. I just amazing.
And it's so funny. I remember that day too. Like she dropped it on that Saturday, and then
And the
Sunday
Super
she did the
Bowl.
Super Bowl. I was
Yep.
like, "Bitch, that's
She
how you
did
do it."
that. She did
Yep.
that. She fucking did that. And then next, I would say "Losing" by her. That was the first song that she came out with. It's just so poetic and so beautiful. Next, "Strawberry Bubblegum" by Justin Timberlake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's such a cute
Strawberry
song, but I don't
bubblegum.
like Justin no more. He's off my list.
Oh, okay. Delete.
Right.
It took me a while, but I can't even look at him the same.
Yeah, "Strawberry Bubblegum." Actually, his album the 2020 Experience is on the list of one of my
That
top.
whole album is dope.
Yeah, it's good. Then next, I have "Blow" by Beyonce.
That's
Like
Yes.
every time you hear that, you just can't. Everybody wants any
Strawberry
black
bubblegum.
person that hears "Blow" by Beyonce can't help but think about skating. You can't
Yes.
help but think about the roller rink, and that's why I'm glad
Yes.
her video was like that.
You know who did the
Yes.
choreography in that video? I think Todrick Hall did the choreography in that video.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
That does
Yeah.
have a Todrick vibe to it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it really does. It
Like,
really
it's very
does.
like hitting points.
Yep.
And then another song that a lot of people don't know, but "Phone" by Lizzo fucks my
With a
shit
hell
up.
my phone.
Yes.
What the
With
hell,
a hell
my
my
phone? Let me tell you, because this decade was most of my 20s. So "Phone" really embodies what the
Anthem.
last 10 years was like for my life. So I can't leave this decade without them like, "What the hell, my phone?"
How the hell supposed to get home?
2:15 and the lights came on. That's a real ass song. 'Cause
That's a
we've
real
all
ass
been there.
song.
We have all
That's
been
true.
there at some point.
That is true. That is
So, yeah.
true.
So that's my 5.
All right. Well, I did 10 again because there's 10 in a decade. So 10 years in a decade. So my first one is from the Diddy Dirty Money. That "Hello, Good Morning." Let that song come on right now. Hello, good morning. Love that song all the time. Can never turn
So
it
good.
off. Solange, "Losing You." So this is
Losing You. Oh,
Losing You is
yeah.
such a good, and it's with Blood Orange. So early Def Hines, and now Def Hines and Blood Orange have blown up. But I love that song. I love,
Losing you for good.
right? It's so good.
It's so
It's
good.
so
It's so
good.
good.
I also had "Ends in Paris" on there. That song was huge. Usher, "Climax." Woo!
Going no. Woo.
That's such a good song.
I listened to that song at the gym today too.
Such a good song. I wish I wrote that one. Disclosure and Sam Smith, "Latch."
Ooh, lad.
Oh
Brilliant.
yeah, that's a good one.
Brilliant song. Haim, "Falling." So like the girl group, the Three Sisters, they had a song out this summer called "Summer Something Too." Love them. That's an awesome song.
Is that a Christian group?
No. I do have one Christian song. It's not in my top 10, but it's an honorable mention. Tamla Mann, "Take Me to the King." Awesome. And even Hezekiah Walker, "Total Praise" this decade too. Anyway, so that's for my gospel peeps. Hey, Alyssa, I know you listening. Hey. Jasmine Sullivan, "Let It Burn." I cannot get tired of that song. She sang the mess out of it.
"In Love with Another Man" is
That's a
my.
great
It's
song,
literally my
too.
number 6. That's
That's
my
a
number
sad
6.
song.
It is a fucking sad song, but she sang the fuck
The
out
mess
that
out of it.
song, and it's like you can't help but be like, damn. Like I was single when this song came out, and I felt like I had a man. Okay, like
She knows how to write the hell of a song.
She showed
Like her pen game is second to none.
She needs to start it up again.
I'm waiting, Jasmine. Where you at? I need another album because all 3 you put out are dope. So I need another album. Come on now. Childish Gambino, "This Is America." Killed it. And then for my Beyonce song, I was struggling. I was like, which Beyonce song do I want to put on here? And
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Oh shit! You said ape
Yeah.
shit. I knew.
What were you going to say?
You said ape shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
knew
what
it
it
was.
is?
I knew it was. I knew that was gonna be you.
I love Ape Shit so much.
Still to this day, me too.
To this day, like, and I was like, formation or Ape Shit, formation or Ape Shit. And I was like, okay, somebody else is going to say formation. So at least it's out there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm putting Ape Shit on there.
I literally said formation because I knew you were going to say Ape Shit. Like, I knew you were going to say this. Like,
I think it's a brilliant song.
It really is.
But I mean, there's so many good songs out there. We'll put a playlist together.
I had Drunken Love and Flawless and 7-Eleven. Those were like mine. I had Ape Shit on there, but those are the other ones for Beyonce because, you can't have a list
there's even
Beyonce.
Uptown Funk before it got played out. Everybody loved them Uptown Funk.
Mm-hmm.
Childish Gambino, Redbone. I mean, that song is so dope. Khaled, Location, or Khalid, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's just too many. It was so hard for me to dwindle down to this.
Well, we gotta put these lists together and post them out there, and then also we've been getting a lot of songs and albums from the community.
Yes,
so we need to pull that
we've
together.
Also been getting a lot of spam.
Girl, I mean, who did we connect with?
Oh man, do you guys have a song of the year or 3 songs of the year? Like
I would say
2019?
For me, Lil Nas X.
Yeah, he probably won it.
Like that or Lizzo song.
Tempo?
Truth Hurts?
Yes.
Truth. But the sad thing is Truth Hurts is like a 2017 song. 2016
It's been out for a while, but it blew up this year.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if I have a song of the year, to be honest. No, I don't have a song of the year. Like, I don't feel like anything.
Well, the year ain't over yet.
That's true.
True.
Beyonce might drop something tomorrow.
I mean, like, there are some songs out right now that I'm really feeling, like Dua Lipa's "Don't Stop Now." Like, I love that song.
I like that song too.
I actually kind of like the dance song by Sam Smith, "I Feel Love."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yes, it's he said such a good job.
Yes.
I know, because it's hard to do Donna Summer.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to do a remake and make it sound like and do it justice. It's just hard to do a remake
every
and do it
commercial
justice.
right
He
now,
did
too.
it real, like he did it so good.
Yeah,
Suge the Baby. I've been talking about the Baby all year. That's probably my number one, or at least top 3. You can't go wrong with Lil Nas X. I mean, that song is huge. I like Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. That's a good song. And Brittany Howard, the same girl from Alabama Shakes. I'm gonna send you this song, "Stay High." Dope.
Send us the song, girl.
Dope. It is so good. So don't sleep on Brittany Howard and Alabama Shakes. They broke up now, but Brittany Howard.
See,
she's
sending us some Michelle Williams stuff.
Okay.
Nope. You're gonna hear her. You're gonna be like, "Damn, I my bad." Guarantee it. So yeah. Anyway, community, let us know so we can complete these playlists. So we can hear what you like, your musical taste. Let me know if you know Alabama Shakes, because these two are looking at me crazy.
I mean, when aren't we?
Facts.
I mean,
and before I forget, you see your homegirl Azalea Banks, right? She done with the gays.
Oh my gosh. She's so, in my opinion, she's so talented, but she's the classic of like putting your foot, like she gets in her own way.
Every single time. Like, she just needs to go sit down somewhere, several seats.
Yeah.
And just tired of your mouth.
But it's just hard when your personality is so trash, though. Like, I mean,
okay then.
I mean, that's the tea.
The whole tea and nothing but the tea.
You can put that in there.
I can't.
I just can't with her. I can't with her.
It's just so. And the killer part about it is you want to. You want to. That's the thing. Like,
I want to like her so much,
right?
But she just makes it so damn hard.
She makes it
so
way too
damn hard. Like a friend of mine just sent like a song of hers on Cloud Sound. Like what is it called?
SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud. Oh, bitch, I fucking love that damn song. But now after hearing this, I'm like, fuck her.
Sit your ass down.
I'm not. It's kind of like Kanye now. Like I listen to all the Kanye music I liked up until Kanye lost his shit.
Yeah.
After then, I'm
I'm in the same boat. I was a hardcore Kanye fan, and I could even rock with like some of his later stuff, even like Yeezus. I could a little bit.
Oh, Yeezus was a dope album.
But like after that, it just started to like the content just didn't work for me at all. And this last album, hated it.
Hated it.
2 snaps, a twist, and a kiss. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, Azalea Banks just does not know how to shut up, sit down, and just do good.
And the killer part about it is, if she didn't have talent, nobody would care. They would just dismiss her. She wouldn't even be relevant. But the fact that she is talented, just makes it even more infuriating.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having, I'm sure you could probably relate to this, Jarrell, like having somebody on, that you're coaching and they got the goods, but they can't stop talking. They can't stop, they
get in their own way.
Get into their own damn way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye, girl. Yeah, well, hopefully you get your Christmas shopping done. It's the month is halfway through,
girl,
almost at this point.
And the discounts are deep.
I know. I've just bought some new headphones. I get to try them out on the plane tomorrow.
I bought some new cookware for the kitchen and a couple of sweatshirts.
Them Black Friday sales get you every time.
I know. I wasn't going to do anything.
Damn.
I was like, okay, I need some stuff for the kitchen. And you can't have too many black sweatshirts, so I picked up a couple more.
All black, darling.
I'm by nothing. Not a damn thing. I used to work in in the stores for retail, so Black Friday just irritates me. Like I avoid it. I don't do it. Nope. I put in my 10 years of retail working Black Friday. She don't exist. I
don't go out. I do all my stuff online.
Oh yeah.
Even like regular shopping, I rarely go into a store.
Yeah. There's no need anymore.
Nope. Who wants to deal with that?
Oh, and you know what? Before we leave, I can't forget the story of OJ. That's a song of the decade. Like, I can't even say the words because I don't want to say the N word, but
the story of OJ from who?
From Jay-Z.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the one he was like, OJ. He's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm not black. I'm OJ. Well, such a good song. Anyway, community, let us know. Continue to download, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.